We're going to look at this knife today because I want to take a closer look at it, but here in the shop we are going to do some remodeling. We're gonna change it up. We are gonna jazz it up a bit.
Jazz it up.
Jazz hands. Spirit fingers. No, we're gonna change this knife around a little bit because I like the idea of this knife. I don't like the execution of this knife at all. I like the fact that it's a simple build. I like the fact that it's a simple design. I really don't like the execution of this knife. So if you've been following my channel, you know that I am very hot and cold, hit or miss when it comes to cold steel. This one has a fairly unique locking system. It's got this bar lock. Rawr, rawr, feed me, Seymour. I have fun. I have fun. It's got a great blade. So here, I like the knife from about here to here. I hate the knife from about here to here. Has a great 4.5-inch blade, beautiful finish, great grind, great steel, 4116 German steel. It's made in Taiwan. Solid lockup.
Steel made in Taiwan.
The Germans spread their influence everywhere. But great lockup. The locking system is great, although it's heavily inconvenient. Where this thing goes off the rails that I hate is this handle. This handle is just... I don't know, I mean, again, so simplicity's sake, they basically took a sheet of stainless steel, they cold folded it, and, you know, screwed it together and said, good to go. So on the one hand, you have something that's light, you have something that's simple, not a lot of screws to fall out or lose or anything, but on the other hand, you have something that's uncomfortable that just, it failed, in my opinion. I don't like the fact that it's not a fully one-handed capable knife. You can do it one-handed. It's a hard opening, you know, fighting against this spring, but there's no way to one-handed close this knife. There's just not at all. Guess that does make it kind of a safe to operate blade, but still. My biggest complaints though are just the handle itself. You have these 90-degree angles put in there. Again, I'll say it again, simple construction, I know. It's not comfortable. I'd like something better than that. I don't like the finish on the handle at all. You can see it's prone to scratching, which means this thing, any steel is going to rust. Give it enough time, give it enough humidity, it can use some help. And that's what we're going to do in the shop here. Now this lock system, it's simple, it's strong, it's, you know, effective. It is kind of a pain in the butt. There's not much we can do about that.
In my personal opinion, it feels like a slingshot.
In Bree's personal opinion, it feels like a slingshot.
It does. It feels like it's gonna just...
Yeah, but if you were to let it go,
sound.
Thank you for your expert commentary there. And then there's the clip issue. I forgot about the clip. It's got a very small clip. It's set very far down on the knife. Now, I'm not looking to, you know, re-engineer anything. We could tap it higher up for screws. We could change a lot of stuff around. I'm going to see if I can easily get my hands on a deep carry pocket clip, which is what I'd ideally like to change this to. At least get a longer clip for this knife. I mean, it's a short clip. It is reversible for left or right-handed. There's no tip-up, tip-down choice though on it. So what we're going to do is we are going to make sure that this knife, Pocket Bushman, it's designed for outdoor use. For, you'd think something called Bushman is like for rugged use, right? We're going to do what we do here at Patriot Armory, and we're going to make this thing fully protected, rugged, ready to go. We're going to coat both the blade and the handle. I don't know how into it we're going to get. As Darren always says, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? I know we're at least going to do a clear Cerakote on the blade. We are going to Cerakote the handle. Are we just going to do one color? Are we going to put some stencils on it? I don't know. But first thing I got to do is I got to take this whole thing apart.
Laser engrave it?
We could laser engrave it, couldn't we? We got to take the handle apart. We got to disassemble all the pieces and see what we're working with on the inside. These are some of the tiniest screws I've ever seen holding a clip on, and it's because they fit into this sheet metal and can only go as far as the lock there. So don't want to lose them, because getting replacements to fit this, we basically have to cut other screws down. So we're going to put our pieces directly in a project box right here. This is the pivot right here, and this is the rear frame screw. You see these both came with Loctite on it? They came right off. Like, not a problem. No resistance whatsoever. Before I disassemble this whole thing, just to show you the blade on this, it is super sharp right out of the box, and this is kind of a damp, wet piece of paper too. This is the kind of blade where you just drop right through whatever it is, the paper, and it cuts. So we're going to try to preserve that cutting edge through everything we do, so I don't have to do too much resharpening and rehoning as we go. Now, it's going to be fun is finding a way to pull this lock to release tension on the pivot there, so that I can actually release the blade from here. That wasn't as hard as I thought. Bronze washers. So a really nice piece of 4116 steel here. Interesting, I just noticed this. Thumb studs are not the same size on each side of the knife. But that's okay, since we don't have to sandblast this or anything for the Cerakote Clear. All we got to do is give it a good cleaning and acetone. We can leave those thumb studs on and not worry about it. Great blade shape though for outdoors work and everything. Now, whoop, little tug on that handle, and this spring and this lock bar wants to come right out. So here's the actual lock, and that is another big piece of steel. I don't know specifically what it's made of, but it comes right out. We're not going to coat this at all, or if anything, we'll do it with clear. And then we've got our spring, so disassembly on this thing's pretty much a piece of cake. I was anticipating it being a lot harder than that. And here is the frame. Alright, well, I tried a new method to do jimping. I just wanted to experiment. Did not work out well. Did not at all. But you know what? If you don't try, you don't know. So this is the ugliest jimping I've ever done. But it is what it is. It's already ground in the metal. I can't change it. It's ugly. But you know what? It works. It's effective. I ground along the edges of the frame there and made it much more comfortable to hold. This is now sandblasted. It's about to go into the oven to sweat, which is going to get rid of all production oils, all hand oils, everything. I've also got, I want to say, the charging handle, the spring bar, and the frame, and the pivot, the screws and bolts that go in there. They are all going to go in the oven because they need to sweat before we put Cerakote on them. Now, the clear Cerakote that's going to go on this blade, it doesn't need to be sweated or anything. We just need to acetone it down, get it really, really clean before it's sprayed. So it's its own beast. I don't have an extra clip right now, so I'm not even going to do anything with this right now. We're just going to put it away, and I think I am going to set up the clip screws though to be sprayed with the lock bar to match that. So I'm thinking simple right now. I'm thinking an OD green with maybe a DocP or a Patriot Armory or something, stenciled out of it, and then like a good graphite black for the screws and the lock bar. Again, simple, field-like, nothing too complicated, and a matte Cerakote on the blade. We'll see how that all turns out. I'm not trying to make it look super fancy or ridiculous. I just want it to be protected. I want it to be durable. I want it to have a good feel. I want to improve this knife. I want to be able to use this knife. I think this knife has a lot of potential. And then when it's all done, then I'm going to do a full review on the knife we have and take it out and test it out a bit. So, as a side project, I decided I was going to scrap that clip completely. I went looking for what I have. I had an aftermarket deep carry clip for a hinderer. So, after a little bit of metal working, I re-drilled and tapped some holes for some screws that fit into this. So we're going to retrofit this clip onto the handle, which is going to pretty much, there's still a little bit showing, but it's going to be a much better clip than the one that comes on it. So now I just got to blast this blue anode job off of it so we can get that coated as well. And we've got some new clip screws that I just had in my spares. You see there, we're going to have to shave some of that off of the top one to make sure that that lock bar can clear completely in that channel, but that's not too bad. And then we'll get to work on all the coating. Everything is reblasted. So we took all the anno off that clip. It's really fun to sandblast titanium because it just sparks something crazy. So this stuff's all ready to go in the oven now, re-sweat. I did my best to fix that disastrous jimping job. Got to experiment. It's better. It's not great. It's not. I should have just done it the good old way in the first place, but you know, it's better. Definitely grippy, but ready to get all this stuff sweated so we can get it coated. All right, so everything is now totally coated, ready to go, and I'm proud to say this is my first Cerakote shot. I did this. I did not do as good a job as Darren does. My thickness is pretty thick as Cerakote goes. Thousandths of an inch or you know, mils, but it's supposed to be 1. Mine is 4 still. So I went with Sniper Green, which I thought was a nice green, and Armor Black, which is a great flat black. Standard clear on the blade. So all we got to do now is get this all assembled, and we have what I believe is a much improved knife from the original design anyway. And we'll get this thing all going. So the really important part is the fit of this lock bar inside, and I didn't raise the tolerance, you know, too much. You can see some wear. You know what? Metal on metal contact, that's gonna happen, and we knew it. Fortunately, this doesn't move too much. I'll give it a little Liberty oil to help lubricate it. What I can also do is give a little sand just to the inner surface there to help reduce the width so it doesn't wear as much on that bar. So we're going to put a little Liberty oil there on the washers to get them nice and slick. We'll actually put it on the blade. Use the pivot screw here to pull the pivot all the way through. That's a little tight. There we go. Now I have it assembled to a point where I need that 550 cord back on because that really helps pull that lock bar. But a little tiny bit of blade play, we'll tighten that a little bit. There we go. We got perfect centering. I love the subdued look. Cerakoted. It has a feel that I can't describe. It's all so much better than just the bare metal. It's got a grippy feel to it. It's protected. The jimping, like I said, I did the best I could. I'll never try that method again. But when it's open, it has more of a grip to it. Rounded those edges a little bit so it has a better feel to it. I like the knife 100% more already. Oh, now a lot of people had said that it was made to be a bare bones sort of rough and tumble, throw it in your toolbox and use it. But when we put this clip on, I feel like it's going to be much better for carry as well. So let's get that done. Let's hope that these screws that are so shallow actually clear this lock bar the way that we had measured. I mean, I guess the only way to do it is to check it out. There's just, you know, let's hope it holds everything on securely. There's so little actual screw to hold on. But the original screws held the original clip on, so there's really no reason to believe they won't. I just hope that I did the measuring right after it was drilled and tapped and everything, so that the screws don't scrape that lock bar and don't cause friction there. And it opens and closes. Well, there we go. Might have to adjust the screws just a tiny bit, but it seems to work pretty well. I think there's just a little bit of friction there I might need to with the coating, because, you know, I had measured the screw just for the flat surface of the interior itself. So what I think I've got to do is just make a little adjustment for the added width, the few mils of the Cerakote, or you know, basically just work it in. But with that lanyard there to give me the extra leverage, I think it'll be fine. There you go. I think I had measured each screw specifically for its position, and I reversed them. So took them out, put them in the opposite holes, and it works fine now. So with the clip though installed, remember the whole idea was to make this a more pocket-friendly piece. So taking a look, deep carry clip, look how much that sits in the pocket. Look how much better it is for pocket carry. Going in, coming out. I mean, it's amazing. So, you know, I used to just hang out at the shop and mess around and stuff. Now that I actually work here and I'm familiar with the processes and I'm learning everything, there's so much we can do to improve so many things. The Cerakote is not just to make it look better, and it's not just to make it more corrosion resistant or durable. I wish I could send a piece of this out to everybody so you could feel how it improves the grip, the feeling of it, you know? Unfortunately, my experiment with the jimping was a failure, but at least I tried something and I fixed it up the best I can. But the basic metal working, to put the jimping in, to improve the feel, to improve the functionality and the carryability of this thing. Like, I love working in this shop. There's so much that goes on. It's called Patriot Armory and Coatings, but there's so much more that we can do here. And now that I'm ready to start actually, you know, producing my own knives, that just being here gives me such a level of ability, I guess is the best way to say it. It's just, I'm lucky. I'm really lucky to have all this stuff at my disposal to work with. So now I need to go home, pick out the perfect piece of 550 cord to make a new lanyard, give me some leverage on that lock, and I think I'm going to have a knife I'm really happy with. Well, final product here. Just chose a nice little camo 550 cord that came in some box somewhere sometime that really puts that leverage right back on the lock bar perfectly. Here's just a chance to get a little closer look at how everything turned out. There's some smudges on the blade from fingerprints and stuff, but nice matte finish on all the colors. A little bit of oil from putting it back together and everything. Looks great overall though, you know? Great looking knife. So after we put the coating on the blade and everything, just to show you, I just took a little bit of time, tiny bit of time, to put that fine edge back on, and it's slicing like it's brand new out of the package. I'd call this a successful remodel. Much more comfortable to hold, much more functional to hold on to, definitely better protected against the elements. Great addition with the clip. Super happy with that clip on there. If it came, and it's not even the color scheme. I like the color scheme, but it's not even the color scheme. If it came with kind of these features out of the box to begin with, I really would have had a much better feel towards this knife to begin with. So anyway, guys, hope this was a cool video for you. Easy modifications to do. You need some tools, true, to, you know, drill and tap and do the jimping and stuff. Cerakoting, sure. You need some skill and some supplies to do it, but this is something that we can do in the shop easily, or that, you know, you can even start to work on your own stuff at home, you know? Get a drill, get a tap set, get a Dremel. Easy to do jimping with a Dremel, but, you know, this is a great platform for you to start learning how to do some of your own knife mods and everything, if that's kind of what you want to lean towards and learn how to do. So anyway, you are all absolutely awesome. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back in real soon.